My name is Michelle Jacoby, and I'll be presenting on Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's disease, or AD, is the most common type of dementia, or brain disorder, which seriously affects a person's ability to carry out daily activities. It begins slowly and gets worse over time. AD is not curable. It's an irreversible and progressive brain disorder. The disease impairs memory, thinking, and eventually the ability to perform basic activities like bathing or eating. Interestingly, it's ranked the sixth leading cause of death in the US, but new records show that it's in fact the third leading cause of death for mature adults after heart disease and cancer. The changes that AD have on the brain are being actively researched by scientists today, but damage is seen at least 10 years before the real symptoms arise. During the early stages, there are abnormal portions of the brain with proteins that form amyloid plaques and tau tangles throughout, and neurons stop functioning, lose connections with other neurons, and die. The first area to be damaged, the hippocampus, is where all memory is formed. As more neurons die, the brain tissue shrinks and shrinks. First stage of Alzheimer's, people can come into contact with problems that include memory loss, wandering around and getting lost, and taking a while to finish daily tasks. There are also changes in behavior and personality. At this point is when the person is often diagnosed. In the second or moderate stage, the damage is in the part of the brain that controls language, reasoning, sensory processing, and thoughts. This is why memory loss and confusion become worse, and they can have trouble recognizing their family and friends. Hallucinations, delusions, and impulsive behavior is also common here. In the last stage, the brain tissue has already shrunk significantly, and the person's body is nearly completely shut down. At this point, they're completely reliant on a caregiver. Though there's no known cause of AD, scientists from NIH.gov believe it's due to a mixture of genetics, environment, and lifestyle. The gene APOE has multiple forms, and the E4 form carries Alzheimer's disease. Also, most people with Down syndrome have the disease due to their extra 21st chromosome, which also harms that same amyloid. Environment, including relationship of physical activity, a healthy diet, and social engagement may help reduce these risks as well. Moreover, scientists found that AD is linked to beta amyloid and tau proteins, which are toxins that accumulate and tangle neurons in the brain. First and most obvious and telling sign is memory loss, although it is not always the case. Symptoms sometimes are due to things like impaired reasoning, vision issues, and more. Patients with MCI or mild cognitive impairment are also at higher risk of developing AD. A doctor might diagnose a patient by asking about their medical history from the patient themselves or their families. The doctor can also have tests such as the clock drawing test, which involves asking the patient to draw a clock with a particular time, often 10 after 11 o'clock. Other steps may include the less invasive blood and urine tests or brain scans like the PET scan, positron emission tomography, which measure sugar levels in the brain. Unfortunately, it can't be confidently diagnosed that it was really AD till after death through a brain tissue autopsy. As of yet, there are only medicines to help treat symptoms of AD, but not the disease itself. Researchers are looking into therapies to slow and eventually eradicate this disease altogether. Prevention, as previously mentioned, include exercising, socializing, and eating healthy as seen in the graphic above.